Ah, the Christmas season. You know what that means. What does it mean? Joy and gifts. Hey everyone, it's me, Shemp, and today I wanted to take a look back at some of the things in my collection that I've held on to over the years ever since I was a baby boy. Obviously, I didn't hold on to everything like I should have, but the few things I do have still give me great memories. But, as we all know, things age. Whether it be for the good or for the bad, games aren't always the same as you remember them being, so I thought it'd be fun to look back at some of the games I played growing up and see if I would gift them this holiday season. To make things a bit more interesting, I'm going to be avoiding all the games that you probably know me for. All the Sonic and Crash and Spyro. I want to focus on the oddball games that I would want more people to play. I will be basing these if I give these to my friends nowadays, so whether you want to gift them to your friends, family, or kids, it's completely up to you. Now I will be taking two things into consideration: market value and quality. You all know I'm a collector, so I'm always well aware of the market value for games. So, like always, I'll be using GameEye to show the market value for all the games I show in this video.
Now, growing up, I mainly had a lot of PS1 games, PS2, Game Boy Advance, etc. You'll mainly be seeing games from these two generations, and I want to start off with a massive underrated gem: Stuart Little 2 on the PS1. This is a game I actually forgot to cover on my Only on PlayStation video, as this game was actually published by Sony. I feel like I'm the only person to ever play this game because there is literally no information about this game online. I actually had to scour the fine print on the back just to see who developed it. But anyways, Stuart Little 2 is your by-the-mills 3D platformer. What makes it special though is that it has this really nice charm to it. I just had a lot of fun going back to this game and running around. Since you're the size of a mouse, obviously, the levels are pretty massive for being so small in scale. Like, the first level is just a few rooms in a house, but it feels like it just keeps opening up. If that wasn't enough, the game really overloads you with the sheer amount of collectibles in each level. You'll never not be doing something. And in terms of controls, it's really solid for a PS1 game. Stuart has plenty of versatile options to help you get to where you need to go. Obviously, it's not perfect, the main issue being the camera, which is pretty standard for PS1 games. As of now, the game goes for about $6 on the used game market, so this is a super easy gift. It's not on any digital stores, but you can still play this on 3 different PlayStation consoles. The next game I have on my list is another licensed game. Shocker. This one is Star Wars Episode 3 for the PS2. I don't really remember much from this game. All I really remember is that I played it a lot, like an unhealthy amount of this game, which is weird because it's not that great. Episode 3 is a fixed camera action game where you flip-flop between Obi-Wan and Anakin as you play through the events of Episode 3. It also has slight RPG elements by letting you level up your character stats and unlock certain attacks and abilities. The problem is really just the controls and gameplay. Combos end up being very stiff and repetitive without any real flair. It's just a 2-button combo system, so it gets really dull very quickly. It's also not the prettiest game to look at, but that's really a fault of the PS2. What's at fault of the game is that the characters never shut up.
Use the Force, Anakin. Good advice. Deflect their fire. Use the Force! Use combination attacks against those super battle droids. We must use the Force! Use combination attack. Force jump, Anakin! Use the Force! Force jump, Anakin!
But I can tell the devs really tried to do some neat stuff. There's a good amount of fan service in here. After you play the final mission where Obi-Wan fights Anakin, you can actually play an alternate ending where Anakin wins, which is pretty cool. Then it's ruined by the ending. There's also some bonus missions that you can unlock that let you play as other characters during the movie, like Yoda and General Grievous. It's a neat little package, but would I gift it? Well, this game currently goes for about $8 to $10, so there's really not a whole lot here. I can't explain why I played so much as a kid. I'd say if they're a Star Wars fan, maybe. Even then, I'd say gift them The Force Unleashed over this. Yeah, that's a better one. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. We'll stick with the PS2 version for this one. Between this and Episode 3, this one is miles better. It's still more or less the same concept with the 2 or 3 button combo system, but it's helped with the amount of moves you can do within it as well as bigger level design. The game really does make you feel like you're unleashing the Force. As you progress more and more, you get to create more chaos. It's great. The movement options are so much better here too. Starkiller feels like he's way better to control compared to Episode 3. I've talked about this game before on the channel, so I won't go into it here a lot. For the PS2 at least, the game goes for about $7, which is a fantastic steal for this game. Definitely pick this one up and gift it. Next up, let's head to the handheld category. There's a lot of really fantastic games on the Game Boy Advance. You got your run-of-the-mill Mario games and even Pokemon games, for example, but you know me, I love obscure hidden gems, and nothing is more hidden of a gem than SpiderMan on the GBA. Yes, the game based off the first movie. Everyone talks about how amazing the second game is on home consoles, and to be fair, it is, but listen, this game is great. SpiderMan on GBA is a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania beat-em-up. That's right. 3 different genres all in one game. One thing I absolutely love about this game is the look of it. The sprite art is so good and sharp, and the movement feels very quick and snappy. Spider-Man can do all his punches and kicks and even web swing through the level. Not only can you do your 3-hit combo, but Spider-Man even has a hidden quarter circle KO attack. I literally just learned about this after 15 plus years of playing this game. I accidentally pulled this off when I was little, but I never knew how it was actually done on purpose. In classic Metroidvania style, these levels are very wide with plenty of nooks and crannies to get in. I will say though, the later levels start to get really goofy with the level design by how big in scope they get, and the boss fights are kind of annoying with the amount of screen crunch that you have to deal with. But something else that's super cool is that the special stages are entirely 3D. That's right, for some reason they decided that the GBA was a good place to put some 3D web swinging. It's nothing super special as you just time your button presses and move left and right, but it's the thought that counts. The game loose currently goes for around $6. Boxed, it goes for like 15, which is a steal for a boxed GBA game of this quality. It's not perfect by any means, but it's super enjoyable and definitely worth a gift. Next up is another hidden gem of its era. This time we'll be headed to the Sega Genesis. This is where a majority of my childhood spawned from. I could go over all the hidden gems of the console, but I think the one that deserves the spotlight the most is Rocket Knight Adventures. That's right, Sonic who? This is the only Konami game I grew up playing. While everyone else had their Castlevanias and Metal Gears and Contras, I had Rocket Knight, baby. Rocket Knight is a fast-paced action platformer where you have 2 buttons, jump and attack. Mega Man who? So in the game, you play as Sparkster, this little thing. I recently just learned that he's an opossum, which makes him even more adorable now. I just don't know much about opossums, but what I do know is that this little guy is fast. Like, a little too fast. If you press and hold the attack button, this bar fills up, and when you let go, Jesus Christ! I forgot to mention he's got a jetpack, so yeah, he can do that, but when you're not holding it down, this bitch is throwing swords. If that's not cool enough, he can hang upside down by his tail on tree branches, which is just so goddamn precious, and then BAM! He's blowing shit up while looking all cute! Who else can do that? Kirby who? Now in terms of the actual game, it's hard. Like, really hard. I'd say the game is like 80% boss fights. They just keep throwing them at you. You play a little bit of the level, which ties into like 3 different levels just to fight a new boss every time you blink, which is cool. I mean, it's neat seeing all these different boss ideas in rapid fire, and these boss fights have some pretty cool set pieces. Like, you're fighting this robot thing, then the bridge explodes, and now you're falling down a waterfall, but wait, you're still fighting, and then you fight in the sky, and then this big water monster thing comes at you. Now you gotta duck and fight while you're flying. It's literally non-stop. But if you die, you die. These checkpoints are extremely harsh. The game does actually have some neat ways of hiding extra lives and such. When you blast off with your jetpack, you actually bounce off of every wall that you come in contact with, which sets up for some fun level design bits. You also get this.
That shit's cute.
as of the time of this recording, Rocket Knight goes for about $26 loose and about $60 for a complete copy. Given the nature of collecting for this generation of consoles, it's pretty standard to just go for the loose copies. Now, I'm trying not to be blinded by nostalgia here. To be fair, there isn't a whole lot of content in here, but given the sporadic nature of this game's market value, I'd say snag it up before it shoots in value again. Who knows? This video could cause the price to spike again, so call around and see what you can get. Now, I've covered this game before and talk about it a lot during streams, but I just can't get over how many people didn't play it. Pitfall: The Lost Expedition. Guys, it's so good. I won't be staying here for long because I've done a whole video covering this game and streamed it to completion. Just know that it's good. The game is on 4 different consoles and it's extremely affordable. I'd stick this game at the top of the list of games that I'd gift. Alright, moving on. Okay, this is kind of cheating, but SpiderMan 2. I know, we've already covered a Spider-Man game, but hear me out. I legit could not leave this game out of this list. Every single person ever who grew up with these consoles played Spider-Man 2. So you know what that means? The new generation needs to play it too. There are a lot of Spider-Man games out there, but this is the one. The PlayStation Spider-Man games are great and all, but you can't top the original. Momentum-based web swinging combined with an extensive upgradable moveset in a GTA sandbox environment. You can do all kinds of goofy things and the game even encourages it. Spider-Man 2 is so good, I could recommend it on any console. I'd say the best version is on Xbox since it has the better graphical output and even gives you a cool motion trail effect. Since this was an extremely popular licensed game, the game is so cheap on literally all platforms, and it's backwards compatible on the Xbox 360, so you can get an even better picture. This is an easy number in your stack of gifts that you can take pride in. Now, I can't talk about my childhood games without mentioning a Sonic game. I was trying to focus on the odd stuff more than the popular ones that everyone else played, but Sonic was such a huge part of my childhood that I have to recommend at least one or two. And both games are definitely gonna upset basically all of you. See, a lot of people growing up will say they either had Sonic Adventure for their Dreamcast or GameCube and even Sonic Adventure 2. These are always rated as the best 3D Sonic games ever. Now, I don't really agree with that statement. They're fine, I suppose. I didn't grow up with either of these games. I didn't play them until well into high school, so I don't really have the nostalgia boner for them like everyone else does. For me, it was Sonic Heroes. I'm sorry, I know this is another game I've already covered on the channel, but come on, not everyone has seen my videos. So let's fix that. I get it, you hate this game, but it's just so good. Sonic Heroes has everything I want in a game. Banger soundtrack, lots of speed, fun to control, glitches. What more could you ask for in a game? I don't know, something about this game kept bringing me back. I just love the look and feel of it. It just feels like a true 2D Sonic game in 3D. The colors are so bright and vibrant, the level designs are creative, and the music accompanying the levels is spot on. I actually can't get enough of it. I've played this game over and over more times than I can count. I know, I'm weird. I didn't like these, but I love this, but it's okay because it's about to get worse. Sonic Advance 3 is my favorite Sonic GBA game. Okay, growing up, it was my favorite because it was my first GBA game, so not so much anymore. I always really enjoyed the partner system. This is where you can choose any character you want to play as and then pick any character to be your sidekick. Doing so would grant you different abilities specific to that character. I always loved experimenting with this feature just to see what all the other characters give me for my favorite one. It's a really strong mechanic that elevates the game, but then it's brought back down by the rest of it. This level design, man, you are really punished for doing literally anything regarding speed. Doesn't help that the levels themselves are designed like a maze, which doesn't really mesh well with Sonic gameplay. The level themes are cool and all, but it just doesn't really help when it's not fun to play. So I can definitely see why people don't like this one so much, even though I hold it so close to my sadistic heart. So in terms of gifting, Sonic Advance would be the better one. This game is a lot more straightforward with how you play. Pick your character and play the levels. That's it. Each character has their own unique moves, obviously Sonic being the most fleshed out, and you can tackle any level you want after completing the game the first time. It's still got high-speed platforming and some fun level themes. Looking at both games' current market value, Sonic Advance is only $15 and Sonic Heroes is between $10 to $22 depending on the console that you want to buy it for. $15 $15 for a Game Boy Advance game is a bit much nowadays, but Sonic Advance does like to fluctuate in price for some reason, so definitely pick these up. Sonic Advance 3 would be up to you though. Now let's head back to the PS1 real fast. I know we started with a very odd game to kick off the list, but now we're gonna end with another odd one. Monsters, Inc. And this is kind of cheating because growing up I only had the demo for this game. To be fair though, it was a pretty long demo, so I count it. Just like Stuart Little 2, Monsters Inc. is a pleasant time from start to finish. The objective is very simple: run around, collect ooze, and scare robot kids in simple QuickTime events. This game also kind of throws a bunch of collectibles at you, but nowhere near as much as Stuart Little did. For the game, you can choose between Mike and Sully, and both have their own unique quirks. Mike is probably my favorite because of his movement options. It's also just fun to hear the sound effects when you just start picking stuff up. As a movie game, it actually goes a bit further than you'd expect by actually animating specific cutscenes for the game and only using movie clips as unlockables rather than transitions from one level to another. There's really not much to say about this game besides how charming and relaxing it is. Par for the core for a licensed game, Monsters Inc. currently goes for about $9 on the used game market, so this is an easy no-brainer. Now there's also a PS2 version of the game, which is a direct port of this game, which is really shocking because you really don't see that a lot. Usually it's a completely different version, but it does technically have better visuals, but personally, it just lost the charm for me. Something about the low-poly PS1 models just added its own cute identity to the whole package, whereas the PS2 game has more detailed models, which makes the animations look a lot more awkward. Between the two, the PS1 game is the better buy.
And that's it. Now obviously I didn't show all the games that I played as a kid, but I wanted to focus on the oddball stuff. You know, games that you wouldn't expect to receive as gifts and then be pleasantly surprised by the quality of them. I definitely urge you guys to check these games out if you're looking for some cheap, fun holiday games to give to your friends, family, or kids. Now if you'll excuse me, I got a package to ship off.